Welcome to Fomo Consulting for your Xela stock analysis video on Saturday, August 14th. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was better than you think, even on a very red day, and I'll show you why very shortly. And as always, the apes are winning, the diamond hands are winning, most importantly, the retail investors winning. So if you find this video informative and entertaining, please like, share, certainly comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It's a newer channel, and I would appreciate the support. Let's get into the video. So let's look at the broader market. So overall, the broader market had a decent day. So let's look at the broader market overall. S&P up 7, Dow up 15, Nasdaq up 6, and Russell was down nearly 21. As you can see, pretty mixed day, pretty flat overall. Not a lot of volatility throughout in most plays. Obviously, big tech had a decent day, but overall just pretty well flat and benign. August is typically pretty low on volume to start with throughout the broader market. And Xela certainly felt the effects of that this Friday, as well as many other plays. Some of actually just barcoded that I was watching. And again, we fell prey to very low volumes and algorithmic trading. We'll get into that very shortly. So overall, crypto's having a fine run over the last week or two. Certainly, yesterday evening I was watching it today. Bitcoin is hovering around that $47,000 mark up and down. Doge is up to close to 29 cents at least time of this recording. Ethereum up around that 3,200 to 3,300, which is incredible. So overall, I know Cardano's running. A lot of things are running these days. So if you're in these plays, congratulations. But hopefully we can sustain this bullish run here. Well done to the German apes. You certainly had some issues yesterday, no different than us, down to 238 euros, down a little over 7%. Certainly, I believe brighter days are to come, and we'll get into that shortly. So, price target has been increased to 5 from Jefferson Research, upgraded Xela Technologies from a hold to a buy. That came out early yesterday morning. Not sure if it caught much attention. We'll see how it goes going forward. But again, it seems to be a lot of positive sentiment fundamentally around this particular stock and company. So I showed this yesterday, but I want to show it again today in case you missed it. AMC is an example of what patience looks like. Certainly, I personally bought in early February. Breaking those resistance, especially the heavy ones, is absolutely key. But you have to keep knocking on the door. That $14 level in mid-March was certainly a very important area. It showed where their point of pain is from a short position standpoint. So as you can see, we approached it. We got rejected back down after a day or so. We knocked on the door yet again in early May. Got rejected yet again, but we did not fall off as hard, and the third time was a charm. We broke through that $14 level of resistance in late May and finally made, obviously, the big run up to $72. So again, being persistent in these plays, obviously just kind of riding out the red days, the downturns. Certainly April and May were not fun to be in AMC. It was very benign. It was very boring. It was a lot of consolidation, a lot of anticipation, building up the forces, I guess, to make those runs. So overall, Xela, I believe, is going through a very similar process around that 350 level. So looking at the options chain, you can see where between the $4 and $5 strike level, just an enormous amount of open interest on the call side expiring this Friday, August 20th. Certainly not near as enthusiastic on the put side, as you can see, with a little over 7,600. I believe yesterday's action was to try to make as many of those as profitable as possible. Obviously, create, I guess, their own volatility with the 10% move downwards. We'll see how this plays out, but I just can't imagine that the big players, people that are heavily involved in this, are going to leave quite that much open interest on the call side on the table without at least making a run towards 4. And you see the same thing going down the chain in September. It is building interest. It is building volume, and you see it on further down in time. Same thing here. You see open interest total of a little over 20,000 in puts. You see nearly 90,000 in open interest on the call side. Absolutely incredible. You can see this is overwhelmingly bullish. And again, I cannot believe we're not going to make a run to 4 this week. So looking at Xela Friday, obviously you can see it was a mechanical sell-off. A lot of weakness just in the overall market at this time. A lot of low volumes. Xela's volume yesterday was extraordinarily low. Not a lot of buying pressure. Certainly, it played into their favor, as you can see, but that is just high frequency algorithmic trading to its finest. Just a nice little pull downs each and every minute, each and every cent, just kind of walking it down slowly but surely. Obviously, with the lack of buying pressure, lack of volatility. Overall, we closed down at $2.66, down 30 cents or 10.14%, which is somewhat important. I did enjoy seeing the aftermarket. I don't put a lot of weight in it. I just kind of use it in my mind more for sentiment. You know, you can certainly see where the buying pressure certainly came back in, kind of preparing for Monday. I was very enthusiastic about that, albeit we'll see how Monday plays out. But you can certainly see how we performed with the overall NASDAQ. A lot of selling pressure on the NASDAQ, just kind of flat, not a lot of volatility. Certainly not a directional day based on the closing. So overall, just kind of a low volume Friday. A lot of options at play, what have you. So not terribly concerned. What is somewhat good is we'll be on SSR Monday. We'll see how this plays out. Never really helped with AMC or a few other plays, but they cannot short it going down, only going up on an uptick rule. Doesn't necessarily apply to hedge funds. So we'll see how this plays out. Not going to put too much into it. But according to my Fidelity account, Recognia, this actually came out earlier this morning. Short, mid, and long term are recommending Xela all for a buy. Do your own due diligence. So looking at the 15-minute chart, you can see where we've kind of over the last couple of weeks or so somewhat been in an overall downtrend. Obviously, we've been trying to find support, but it's nice to see some strength. Again, Friday, the last couple of days with the very, very low volumes. You had, 15 million on Thursday and then 24 million yesterday. So extraordinarily low volumes based on its recent history of around 40 million. So again, it's not very hard to push a small cap stock down if you wanted to, especially without algorithmic trading. But the one thing I also think is at play, and I'm not a huge proponent of this, is filling the gap. But you can certainly see there are a couple gaps in the chart, and around that 250 level is where they would be filled. Again, not terribly convinced that's what's at play. However, you can see that very strong support level at around that 250 range. We may very well touch that Monday and then make a bounce. We shall see. So again, looking at the 1 hour chart, you can see over the last month where the volume has really, really fallen off to our more recent self. Last couple of days, what we were around 15 million on Thursday and about 24 million yesterday. Absolutely very, very low. We've pretty well trended around 39 million through this period of time. So it's, again, we're in the consolidation period, very, very low, and it's not very hard to move a small cap stock downwards or upwards on very light volume. So we'll see how this plays out over the coming days. Hopefully we will get a breakout. So just in my own personal assessment of kind of the indicators, you can see where the RSI is completely blown out on the 1 hour chart. Again, at 2465 out of the channel. MACD is certainly in oversold territory. The 250 level would be a bounce point potentially. We could wick down there very quickly. We'll see. But overall, based on these indicators, I would say even if we have a bearish start to the day Monday, we're going to find a bounce point at some point. And again, with the options that play later in the week, I believe we are going to bounce bullishly. Whether it's a trend reversal from the downward trend, we shall see, but I do believe we're going to try to make a run for that at minimum. So again, looking at the 2-hour chart, you see the same thing. You see a blown out, very oversold RSI, and the MACD is certainly in that direction as well. But if you look back in time, when we've been down at these levels and the subsequent price action on the RSI thereafter, I do believe we're in a point where we will have a bullish reversal. Whether it's a longer term trend, we'll see. But again, it certainly looks very set up for a bullish pop. Again, you see on the MACD, you see the same thing. Volumes are very, very low. Again, not very hard to move a stock down with low volume. And again, RSI very, very oversold. Heavy level of support at 250. We need to hold that. That is an absolute key, even if we bounce, which I really don't want to touch 250, but we may have just a bullish run from the opening bell. We shall see. Again, looking at the daily chart, what you see is obviously a very clear downturn, making lower highs, kind of in that consolidation period, but we've kind of been there, done that before. But if you look back in time after the big run up to 545, you see the same kind of thing, and then you have a trend reversal, obviously, to the upside. So from an overall longer term trend, we are still on an upward trend. We are retracing. Hopefully, we're at the end of that. And looking at the fib levels over the daily chart, we are right on that 61.8, the golden zone, whatever you want to call it. That is an absolute strong level of support. As you can see, we've used it in the past. It used to be a level of resistance. Certainly, it's very key for this stock. I do believe that we are at a bounce point. We may consolidate on it, who knows, but it is a very, very important level, it would appear. And you see a similar upward trend, albeit bit of retracement, obviously, as we know over the last week or so. But on the weekly chart, still very much on an uptrend. And the alligator is certainly in a bullish direction. You're in GME, had a good day yesterday. Overall, very, very low volumes. Again, using this compare with Xela, I believe they are very similar in stock structure, smaller cap, lower float, what have you, easier to move. We'll see how it works out, but even on light volume, you see it can go up or it can go down. Robinhood had a pretty hard sell-off over the last couple of days. It actually had a green day. Some of you may or may not be in this. Some of you may or may not like it. Not sure, but overall, it looks like it kind of found a floor around that $50 level. Certainly, we'll see. Not a lot of data to go off of, but Robinhood may be an interesting longer-term play at minimum. So looking at the Ortex data overall, right now we're around 9 days, the average short positions, which would put us about August 3rd, if at that high point. So you can see entering on August 3rd, the green candle right below the 7, basically. They've walked it down from there. So the average date of that would mean they're profitable, right? So I believe our high point at that level was about $3.30, and they walked it down to $2.66, obviously. So they are overall profitable. Hopefully they will cover, and we'll start the game all over again. We shall see. Overall trend continues to go up, as you can see, kind of ebbs and flows, but overall, the overall trend of the short interest is going up. So looking at the Ortex data, you can see where the shares on loan continue to go up 13 million. Cost to borrow about the same, 7.23. Utilization at a very high 88. I believe we get into the 90s. This thing will shoot. The short interest percent of free float 16.7, down about 4% yesterday. Returned 2.13, borrowed 1.55. Certainly took advantage of what they could with the broader market. Short shares available according to Fintel, 1.6 million. with a bar fee of 7.41, and again, very, very low total volume of 24 million. And we did lose one institutional buyer with 13F filings. Not sure who that was right now, but overall, I'm sure with the buy signals and the strong growth potential of this company, the institutional investors will start piling in. So looking at the overall options chain data, big sales volume, you certainly see where we're hovering around that 12 to 15,000 per day, but it's still exceptionally bullish at 4.7 to 1. Calls versus puts are very, very bullish, and you see a lot of options being traded on larger contracts deeper into time. So the September 17, December 17 trades, you all see all that, but you also see some pretty large trades on the August 20th time frame. So overall, again, very, very bullish on the options chain, which I believe will be our catalyst. Always fun to look at. Take it with a big grain of salt. The fidelity probability indicator shows we're about 68% probability above where we currently are. Take that for what it's worth. So I would like to thank you all for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, please like, share, certainly comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It's a newer channel, and I appreciate the support. But as always, I hope your life is green candles, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care.